Hello friends, welcome to Sql Server tutorial. In this video, we are going to look at date validation as well as calculation. So here first we calculate experience via the function datediff. So from employee table, we are selecting some sample data, top 5. That means we pick 5 records. We display first name, hire date. So this will be the employee's first name, and this is the date data type. And on this specific field, we are going to experiment datediff function. So here we are making use of datediff hire date, employee's hire date then get date. This will give today's date, and we are passing hire date and today's date to the datediff function, and we want difference in terms of months. So that's why we specify m here. So the calculated result gives us the experience in terms of months. So we set alias as exp months, and in the next column we specify datediff again, and we pass same parameter hire date and today's date, and this time we pass year as first parameter. In the previous call, if you see, we got experience in terms of months. Here we are getting experience in terms of years. Actually, it is calculating the difference between these two. That means hire date that's coming from the database, and this is again a function called getDate that gives today's date, and we get a difference between these two given date. And how we want to return the result is specified in terms of first parameter. Here we specify month. That means we are calculating experience in terms of months. And here in the second function call, we specify year. So we get experience in terms of years. So this is one example. Here we explored datediff, and the function evo month stands for end of month. So for end of month we specify the today's date, or you can give any date, and evo month will give last date in the given month. So for example, if it is February, the last date will be 28 or 29 based on leap year. January, last day will be 30. March, April will be 30. So that's the use of this evo month. Evo month, you can give a date and it automatically gets you the last day in the month. So evo month, we will explore this also in the SQL Server Management Studio. Then in order to validate month, you can use the function IsDate. So here we are passing the hire date. Definitely this will return true because the data type itself is a date, so it's actually a date. Here if you see, we are checking IsDate 1/31 1972 So this is a valid date because the month is January and the day is 31. So year doesn't matter, so this is valid, so it will give you 1 stating that it's a valid month. Next, if you see, we specify month of June here, and we specify 31. So the date 31 doesn't exist in June. So if it is 5, then it's a valid date. But since it is 6 June, the maximum day here is 30, so 31 is invalid, so this will return 0. Suppose if you have some character 3a 3b, that time also we will get 0 here. So this is to check whether a string representation of a date is actually a date. So that way you can check with the IsDate function, so that will return true or false. Now let's go to the SQL Server Management Studio and explore Datediff, EVO month and validate functions. I mean the IsDate function. Now it's demo time. Now we will use pubs database, and in the pubs database we are using the employee table, and we are just picking some 5 sample records. And if you see, we have 5 records, and this is the hire date. In the database, pubs table employee columns. If you see, hire date is date time. Now we will calculate the experience in terms of month and years. And if you see, since it's a pubs database and it's a very old Microsoft supplied database, that's why you see higher data as 90 and 91, 92 in that range. Now we will execute this, and you can see experience in terms of month here, it's returned, and here experience in terms of years. So since the higher date of Helen is 1989, the experience is 34, and Paulo is 1992, so the experience is 31. So the experience here is calculated based on the hire date and get date. So these are all the 2 dates for which we are calculating the difference, and here we returned difference in terms of month, and in the second case we returned the difference in terms of years. So when I am recording the video, it's April 23, and if you see the last date or end of day on April is 30. So now select EVO month, get date will return today's date 11, but EVO month will give last date in the month. So if I do execute, it gives 34/20/23. You can also use this with employee table, and you will get last day in the month. So as already explained in the slide, if you see, here we are checking IsDate function. We know that this is valid and this one is also valid, and the third entry is not valid because in the month of June there is only 30 days. So 31st is not available in June, and this one will return false. And you can see that here. So IsDate function is useful to validate a date is actually a valid date. Here it will be useful if you pass a string representation of date. So that's where the actual mistake takes place. So here you can check whether it's in a proper date format. Not only date format, we can check whether there's a valid date. That's all here in this video. Just now you saw the demo. Thank you for watching. Bye.